Hey everybody, I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA. I own Choice Tax Relief. We help folks with the IRS or their state at least $10,000 in back taxes. I recently made a video about the IRS unable to pay status. Link to that video at the top right hand corner of the screen. And in that video, one of my viewers, Carlitos, wanted to know if while you're in that IRS unable to pay status, does the 10-year time limit that the IRS has to collect a debt, does the clock on that time limit keep ticking? And the answer to that question, Carlitos, is yes, indeed it does. For those of you who don't know, Carlitos is referring to the IRS's 10-year statute of limitations on collections, which says that the IRS only has 10 years to collect a debt after it's been assessed. As I've covered in other videos, including the one linked to at the upper right-hand corner of the screen, there are things that can extend that 10-year time limit, such as filing for an offer in compromise, filing bankruptcy, requesting a CDP hearing, and a few other things. But getting into IRS unable to pay status does not extend the statute of limitations on collections for the IRS. So it keeps running. That clock keeps ticking on the IRS. That said, there are some things to know about IRS unable to pay status, also known as currently non-collectible or CNC status. One is that the IRS will very likely file a notice of federal tax lien against you to protect its interest. And this kind of makes sense if you think about it, because very often, well, maybe not often, but from time to time, the IRS will let people who have equity in their home into unable to pay status if that individual or those individuals can prove to the IRS that they cannot access the equity in their home. And so what the IRS doesn't want to have happen is place them in CNC or unable to pay or hardship status, whatever you want to call it, only for the next day, right, for the taxpayer to then sell their home and then walk away with hundreds of thousands of dollars possibly of equity that they have, right, without having to pay the IRS anything because they're in unable to pay status, right? Another thing to know about unable to pay status is the IRS does have the right to kick you out of that status if it thinks you're making more money now than you were when they placed you in unable to pay status, okay? So yes, while the 10-year time limit does keep ticking, and very often we have clients who stay in unable to pay hardship CNC status until their tax debt drops off at the end of those 10 years, it's not necessarily a guarantee, especially if your income is expected to increase before your tax debt drops off. However, if your income isn't likely to increase before your tax debt drops off, other than nominal maybe pay increases for inflation year over year, then it's fairly likely that you'll be able to stay in unable to pay status until your tax debt drops off, which is an amazing thing, right? Because then you don't have to worry about the tax debt anymore, and it's dropped off without you having to pay the IRS a dime. If you owe the IRS at least $10,000 or your state, and you want a free consultation, give us a call at Choice Tax Relief, 866-8000-TAX, 866-8000-829, or you can go to choicetaxrelief.com, fill out the form on the website, and we will reach out to you. I have some other videos about tax relief here on the left-hand side of the screen for your education and enjoyment. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.